Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Full Q Developer Stream, Season 2. I've been hard at work on the FQA thing that we've been working on. And of course, a few other things came up, but we'll put those aside for now. Today I wanted to talk about how FQauth has been going, and I can show you the website for it real quick. So you can follow along at home. It's hosted on GitHub. And everything so far is on the initial branch. So you can see what's been going on there. But yeah, coming back to what I wanted to talk about today, I wanted to talk about managing local databases using Vapor commands. As you know, Vapor is a Swift only, or a Swift framework for, it's a Swift web app framework. And I've been working with it for quite a bit over the past several years. I have several merged pull requests to some of the Vapor projects, such as their Redis and their SQL stuff. Yeah, so you can see here on the screen, if I run Swift run FQauth server, which is the name of the target, then local db, which is the name of the command, and then help, I get a create and destroy commands. And I created these so it'd be very easy to get started with a database. I think Rails has something like this, but I didn't quite see one for Vapor. So I wanted to make it easy to set up the database in GitHub Actions and also while working locally. Yeah, so we can destroy many times. It says the role does not exist skipping. And we can also create. So it runs a few Postgres commands. You can see that a new role was created, FQauth. You can see it ran create DB on our behalf with everything that we want all intact, and the database exists. Let's see if we can log into it. And what was the password? How do we specify a password? Database does not exist. Okay, yeah, so FQauth, let's say dev. Cool, so you can see we're connected. And I believe there's no tables at the moment, yeah. So now, of course, we can run our migrations, for example, FQauth server migrate. Cool, and it ran our migrations. So that's a quick example of what this command does. It creates and destroys the databases. Oh, we can show off destroy now that we've actually created it. And now when we try to log in as FQauth to the FQauth dev database, yeah, we get that error again. So you can see that it created it and destroyed it using these commands, and we're able to migrate it also ourselves. Yeah, now I want to show off the implementation of that a little bit. Let's swap over to Xcode. And here's what it looks like. And I guess before we get into the implementation, I have this configure commands function that only adds these commands in debug mode. This is powerful stuff. You don't want to accidentally run this stuff in production. Yeah, this is only for local database management. And you can see we specify the key as localDB and the name as create and the name as destroy for destroy. So let's take a look at the create command. We added it conforms to command, which is a Vapor protocol. Create local Postgres databases for development and testing. And if you don't have Postgres installed already, use brew install Postgres UL. Cool, and then we give it a run function. And what does the run function do? We create a role named fqauth and a password. It looked like we didn't need to specify that password when we logged in. I'm not sure what that's about, but we can specify it. We want to create a DB for fqauth test, owned by fqauth. We want to ensure that connection, we can connect to it. Create a database named fqauth dev with an owner of fqauth, and ensure we can connect to that. And if that's all works, then we have created our 2 test databases, and we're all groovy. So let's take a look at the create DB first, since that's the easiest one. I'm using a tool I wrote called sh. You can see we're importing it here, and the link to that is, of course, github.com/fullcodedeveloper/sh. And what it does is it runs commands for us on the command line, and you can see that it pairs really well with Vapor's command framework, because we want to run some stuff using the Postgres command line tools. So for creating a database, we know we need to call the createDB Postgres command. And we pass it in the correct parameters so that we're creating a role. Oh, sorry, I was talking about the creating database with the name and the owner. So we just use Swift string substitution and we run it, and it works. The next least complicated thing is the ensure DB connection. And that's a little function we pass in the name of the database that we want to connect to, and the owner, and of course the password to connect with. And again, we just run sh. With this command with the substitutions, and the password, we don't have to, we don't want to put it on the command line, so we can pass in an environment variable. PG password is the well-known one, and then I'll pass the password in. And I can show that. Let's see, where's our history? Yeah, create. So first it ran the create role part, which we haven't talked about yet. And you can see that sh, by default, it prints out to the terminal what it's running, so that if something goes wrong, we can copy paste this and run it ourselves. And this one, it had in environment variables, and those don't show up in the output, which is great for passwords, but maybe not so great for copy pasting. Right, we deleted it anyway. We can kind of run it. Oh, we can't quite run it by hand. They say we could run this, but that role doesn't exist yet. But in theory, we could copy paste this as needed from the command line and paste it into the terminal ourselves. Okay, and then I guess the most complicated part of this create command is the create role little function. And it's a bit longer. Let's see, get it all on the screen at once here. So let's start at the end. So again, we run PSQL. We pass in the user flag because we're going to run this as Postgres. And then we want to run two commands. /du, I believe, is to show all the users in Postgres. So like PSQL as Postgres, and then /du, it shows all the current users. But first, we want to run a command to create the user. And unlike create table or create, I think, database, there's no if exists. We have to write our own little script to check if it exists or not. And we pass in this script, which we'll get to in a moment, using an environment variable, and the shell does the what's it called, the substitution for us, which is great because this would be pretty complicated to write with, like, how many layers of escaping would that be? So Swift to shell, and then the shell need to escape again, perhaps. And shell escapes are always been a little bit of a struggle. Which is one of the motivations for creating something like sh for running commands. Is that we get a little bit more Swifty control over what's being run. We can do more layers of abstraction, like create a little function saying create role, and inside it does all this. Okay, so getting to the script that gets passed in to this Postgres command down here, it's a do block demarcated by these bookends. We begin. So if there's a role name, this is not a typo. It is role name, not role name. If this exists, then we'll raise that user exists already and we're skipping it. Otherwise, we want to create the role. And that is the create local DB command. You can see how this is a vast improvement over a shell script, at least to my taste. Everyone has their own taste, by the way. Because I'm familiar with the Vapor commands framework, and look at these nice functions that say what they're doing. We're creating a role, creating a database named FQL test, and we're showing that we can connect with the DB. And we're doing the same thing again, but for dev. Oh, that feels good. And create DB is pretty simple, but these more complex ones would be, a little bit more complicated to run from a shell script, I guess, would be competing. I guess you could use this using a Ruby script or Python script. That would be cleaner too. But then you're mixing in a Ruby script or Python script to your Swift project. And yeah, Swift is my favorite language. I like having everything be in Swift when possible. But that's to my taste. Of course, yours may obviously be different. Okay, so let's look at the implementation of the create command, let's look at the implementation of the destroy command. This one is a lot shorter. I didn't bother creating functions for it. Yeah, we have the help again. Destroy local Postgres databases for development and testing. So we can drop a database if it exists, which is nice. So we want to drop the dev database, the test database, and then remove the user. We can drop the user if it exists, but we can't create the user if it exists. And then we run du again, show that everything is destroyed. So we can go ahead and run that. Let's see, is it in our history? Yeah. We can run this as many times as we want. And we can create. Oh, thank you so much for the subscription, and welcome Franz Cedar List and Bruce Leaf. It's so good to see you again. Yeah, I was doing a quick overview of the database command for fqauth. I think it's really neat little piece. I wanted to talk about it specifically. I think for season 2, I'm going to be focusing on kind of snippets of content for like pulling off of the work I'm doing for fqauth. Because a lot of the work that I do is, you know, a lot of shower thoughts, a lot of deep thought, and I feel like deep thought on stream doesn't work quite as well. It's a lot of staring off into space, and that's, I don't know, I don't think that's very entertaining to watch. So this is the new idea. And thank you so much for the subscription, Franz Serderlist. Thank you so much for supporting my work. I really appreciate it. How are your apps going? Let's see, that's what I prepared for the first day, and I was only about half an hour. Let's see, format. Yeah, I think tomorrow I'm going to talk about the services stuff. Try to keep it to one short topic, post it to YouTube. Franz Serderlist says, all fine. I learn a lot of things. Oh, awesome. That's great to hear. Oh, I should do like a Q&A section or something. Answer anyone's questions about fqauth. But yeah, once again, here's the GitHub URL for fqauth if you want to follow along at home. And of course, also mentioned today on stream was sh, which was the little tool we're using to run these command line tools. Ron Serderlist says, my 7-month in Swift and Swift UI, but just feel empty, not learned a lot. Oh, that sucks. Can we follow each other on GitHub? I have 0 followers. Cool, I think I have, how many followers do I have on GitHub? Oh, I need to update this. I have 4. Sure, go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you back. Why not? I'll do that after the stream. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna try to go back to a short snippet every day, or it's either that or 2 long streams a week, uh, where I build stuff or do tutorials. Um, yeah, first time in a while I want to do something short just to get back in the swing of things. Um, I'm looking for an internship, says Franz. Do you have any advice for me? I'm really bad at finding work. If anyone needs a consultant for iOS, I'm available. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I have advice on how to find an internship, but best of luck with that. Oh, I do have some advice. I guess there's some different Discords where people post stuff like that. Like I think the Vapor Discord, and there's a Swift Discord, or on Reddit, I think. You can post that you're looking for an internship. You don't want money, just looking for experience. Oh, I have experience and no money. Maybe we should talk. And Bruce Leaf just subscribed for 4 months in a row. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you so much for your continued support of my work. And yeah, thanks. Thanks so much. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys soon. My website is fullqdeveloper.com. Franz, I'll definitely follow you on GitHub once you get the follow, and we should chat about internship stuff. Yeah, I'll be around. Thank you guys so much.